Ndala, Ndala, Ndala. Welcome. So today in this episode of the laws of Maat, the laws of life, we are going to talk about the principle of consuming only our fair share. I know that this principle may ruffle a few feathers, especially if you are part of the body positive movement, if you have some type of dietary lifestyle, or if you have some type of pre-notions about what you should eat, what your body looks like, etc., etc., etc. So my perspective on this principle is simply to detach yourself from what you look like. The principle is about consuming your fair share, not taking more than what you need, not taking more than what is yours, irrespective of what you look like. So it's not a matter of whether you're overweight or not. It's a matter of recognizing when you should concentrate and apply this principle and pay attention to this principle and emulate it a little bit more within your life, within your decisions, within your way of thinking and your perceptions. Of course, the first thing that will come to mind and the first thing that we will address is the consumption of food. But we will also address the other types of consumption that this principle may call you to act upon. So when we're talking about food, the question that you need to ask yourself is, am I eating my fair share? Am I eating more than my fair share? And underneath the layer of this question comes into, am I even eating what I need? Because it's not a matter here to tell you need to eat less, you need to do this, you need to do that. It's a matter of you examining the reason why you consume and how much you consume, and if that is in line with your needs and your aspirations. So one of the questions that you may ask yourself, do I eat even when I am not hungry? Do I eat beyond the point of cessation, meaning I continue to eat even though I'm already full? Do I eat because of some emotional baggage, some emotional trouble? Do I eat to numb my pain? Do I eat in an attempt to fill my inside up because of the emptiness I feel inside? Do I eat just because the food is here? Just because somebody asked me, somebody's offering, somebody's giving? Do I eat just because that's the way it's been done in my family? This is the way everyone eats around here. So all of those questions are bringing them back to you, because it is about you. It is about what is your perception, what is your motivation, your driving force behind the type of food that you eat and the quantities that you eat, the frequency upon which you eat it. And believe me, it doesn't matter if you overeat mangoes, fresh fruits, or if you're overeating chicken, because the underlying conduct is that you're overeating. You're eating more than you need, and sometimes you eat even more than you will want to. Of course, for those of you who have underlying condition, medical condition, you need to seek medical advice. This is not what this video is about. The video is about helping you question yourself, helping you question your behavior, helping you question your thought pattern, and avoiding the distraction and the excuses. Of course, you need to feel good about yourself and your body, no matter where you are with it, no matter what it looks like, no matter how big or how small you are, how tall or petite. That's the body you have. That's where your soul is living right now. And this is why it should matter. If you find yourself eating even when you're not even hungry, that means there is something there for you to look at. Not in a blaming kind of way. This principle is not here to make you ashamed of who you are or what you look like. This principle is enable you to tap into that part of yourself that is trying to hide. Try to hide underneath the food, try to have within the food, try to have within all of the places that it can hide. And by lifting up the food, you are left with that question. Why am I eating? Why am I consuming? Answering that question is a process. So I know some of you will want to say right away, well, I do this, I do that. No, it's not a matter of answering right away. It's a matter of you spending time with that question. And this is why we'll go beyond food. We'll explore other areas as well. But food is the most predominant, is the most easy, and is the most important to tackle with. First of all, given the obesity epidemics, people are getting larger and larger. And of course, this could be a sign of abundance. We have more food available to us at cheaper prices. But at the same time, it also shows that we are overindulging. And overindulging when when you're eating just because you're sad, not because you need food or because you're hungry. When you're eating to comfort yourself, could be a tablet of chocolate, could be a cake, could be 4 or 5 other things that you eat that may make you feel good at the moment, but that you regret eating later on. Why? Because it provides an imbalance of certain things to you. Maat is all about finding balance. So the reason why the principle asks you to consume only your fair share is to prevent you from getting into imbalances. There is no blame and shame and a button, because when there is imbalances, you can always rebalance yourself. That's the whole point of you asking those questions to yourself, of you going through this process so that you can find balance. Now, if you don't find yourself in balance, you won't need to go through this process. And this is what the series is about, different principles, and not necessarily all of the principles are not necessarily going to be challenges for everyone. Some principles you will find it easier to apply and to integrate within your life. This is why some of you may intuitively, instinctively say, I only eat my fair share. I only eat when I'm hungry. I only eat the fruits and vegetables and food that feed me and that empowers me. Whatever that is for you, whatever that means for you, there is no prerogative. Whatever your body needs, whatever enables your body to function to its optimal state. So it's evident that some of you won't find any challenge in this principle. However, a lot of us will, a lot of us are, and a lot of us have. And this is why we are talking about it. So think about the last thing that you ate. Was it something delicious? Was it sweet to your tongue? Was it spicy? Was it salty? Was it refreshing? If you don't even remember what it tastes like, that could be an indicator of balance being needed. Also think about the context within which you ate. Was it dinner with friends? Dinner alone? Cozy time? Dinner with your beloved? What was the context? Were you feeling just in a mood? Were you feeling happy? Were you with company? Were you by yourself? Were you feeling sad? Were you feeling angry? Were you feeling numb? What is a recurrent feeling that you go through when you eat? And take the time to ask those questions. Take the time to look at the things. Don't push them under the rug. And if the thought of putting them under the rug comes up, that's even more and more reason to actually look at them, to actually look at it and actually ask yourself those things. So, consuming only your fair share has different dimensions. We've talked about the reason why we eat, but we should also talk about the circumstances and the context within which we eat. Meaning, is consuming exotic fruits that are travel the world just for you? part of your fair share? Those are delicious questions to ask yourself. And I don't have the answer. It may very well, yes, a big fat yes for you, or a little no. It all depends on you. Because those questions cannot be answered by someone outside of you. You have to answer them for yourself. And this is why people cannot dictate to you what you should or shouldn't eat. Some people can make recommendations on nutrition if you seek so, based on what you would like to know. But intrinsically, you are the one who needs to decide, and you are the one who needs to look at this and choose for yourself. That's also the only way it will be most efficient in terms of your lifestyle and the type of life you want for yourself. A life that is yours. A life that is yours to live, whether you want to live it. The principle is asking you to consume your fair share. And you do just that. Then there will be no conflict in terms of the other movement you may join, how those movements may support you, so forth and so on. And as I've mentioned in the beginning, this principle is not based about what you look like. It is for sure and certain that the way you eat and what you eat is going to have an impact on what you look like and even how what you may feel. But this principle is focused on the former, meaning the reasons why you will consume certain things in a certain way. So, I've underlined before that you should be grateful and happy and enjoy and preserve and take care of the body that you have, no matter what its shape is. However, if you do know that you consume more than your fair share, then it's time for you to accept that premise and move towards the steps that will get you to a more balanced life. Look into the support that you can receive, the tools you can gather to assist you along the way to rebalance your life. Not just in a physical kind of way, but also in an emotional, psychological, and spiritual way, as they all go together. And this is to support you in that process of you deciding what is best for you, and also in applying this principle. I keep often mentioning that the Maat is not an easy breezy thing. Those are principles and tools that call you to look at specific aspects of yourself and work on them. And the work is never done. The work is never finished. So long as you're here, that means there is work to be done. It may not be on the same principle, that's why there are a lot of them. And it always has an invitation for you to go deeper. This is why we're looking at several layers. It's not just about the food. It's about what is underneath. It's about your driver. It's about your motivation, but it's also about your needs. Physical, emotional, spiritual, psychological, etc. So, once you've looked about the food and the modification that you want to make, changing maybe what you eat, changing maybe when you eat, or how frequently you eat, or with whom, or in which context, or the emotions and the attitudes that lead you maybe to overindulge. Those are all things you can look at. Now, for those of you who said, well, I don't have any issues with food. I eat my fair share. I don't eat more than my fair share. So look at the other things that you do consume. Are there any other things that you consume more than your fair share? Do you consume your fair share of social media? Do you consume just your fair share of alcohol and other recreational activities? Do you consume your fair share of this and your fair share of that? Are there any other areas where you overindulge? And if you said yes to any of that, if you notice, if after spending time with yourself, you notice that there are areas where you tend to take a little bit more than your fair share. And this could be even emotional. Do you consume your fair share of emotional satisfaction or emotional support? Or do you take a little bit more from the people around you? A little bit more from your family and your friends? Are you overindulging in that sweet, delicious emotional support from others? So you see, there may be areas where you may be consuming more than your fair share and that you just didn't realize. So this is an opportunity to look at those different areas and to see where balance is needed. And you can apply the same question. What is underneath that need for you to consume a larger share than yours? What is your motivation also to maybe consume less than your fair share? Because that's also something else. When you always take less than what is due to you, what is the underlying reason? Are you feeling unworthy? Are you feeling beneath others or the providers or whatever the source it may be? Those are also questions to ask. So it's not just the overindulgence in terms of consuming in excess, but maybe there are things that you don't consume enough. Maybe you're the one who need to consume a little more emotional support. Maybe you're the one who need to consume a little bit more food. So those are questions that you need to ask yourself. Don't assume the answer just because you think you know yourself so well. Ask the question and let the answer come out of you. So the question remains the same. Are you over-consuming because of other underlying things, pattern, baggages, trauma, what have you, things you don't want to let go, negative perceptions, experiences, fears? There may be a lot of reasons why you consume this. It could be porn. It could be over-consuming technology, social media. It could even be sports. It could be anything that you see as a consumption where you overindulge or underindulge, where you just don't take just your fair share. So take the moment to look at your behaviors and your attitude toward what you consume and assess whether it is time for you to apply this principle of the Maat, whether it is time for you to rebalance yourself. Maybe start with a cleanse. Maybe start with one element that you can diminish. Taking baby steps is always better than trying to jump the hoops and go cold turkey. Of course, this also depends on who you are and how you function and what is most motivating to you and your level of discipline. So today I invite you just to think about what you consume and think about whether you're consuming it in a fair manner, whether you are just taking your fair share or not.